Hello, and welcome back to our channel, where we uncover the hidden truths behind Hollywood's most legendary romances. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic love stories of all time, the intense and passionate relationship between Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. Their chemistry both on and off the screen captured the hearts of millions, but beneath the glamorous veneer of this Hollywood fairy tale lies a much darker truth. Today, we're going to explore the complexities, the heartbreaks, and the untold struggles behind Bogey and Bacall's love story. Join me as we take a deeper look at what many consider one of Hollywood's most romantic yet deeply flawed relationships. The beginning, a love born amidst controversy. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall's love story began in 1944 on the set of To Have and Have Not. Bogart was already a well-established star, famous for his tough guy roles in films like Casablanca and The Maltese Falcon. Bacall, on the other hand, was a 19-year-old newcomer, fresh-faced and stunning, with a sultry voice that immediately set her apart from the other ingenues of the time. From their very first meeting, there was an undeniable spark between them. Audiences could feel it too. It was electric, it was passionate, and it was real. But what many people don't realize is that their relationship didn't start as some grand Hollywood romance. In fact, it was born out of a deeply complicated and controversial situation. At the time of their meeting, Bogart was already married, and not just to anyone, but to actress Mae Method, a woman known for her fiery temper and volatile behavior. Their marriage was often described as a war zone, filled with intense arguments and physical fights. Bogart and Method's relationship had been deteriorating for years, and they were locked in what seemed like a toxic cycle of love and hate. However, despite all of this, Bogart wasn't exactly free to pursue Bacall. But that didn't stop him. From the moment Bogart and Bacall began working together, a romance sparked behind the scenes. Their connection was undeniable, and their feelings for each other quickly turned from admiration into something far more dangerous. Bogart was 45 years old, more than twice Bacall's age, yet their love grew in intensity, despite the scandal it would cause. For Bacall, this was her first love, but for Bogart, this was the beginning of the end of his turbulent marriage. When news of Bogart's relationship with Bacall started to leak, Hollywood tabloids had a field day. This wasn't just another run-of-the-mill Hollywood affair. This was Humphrey Bogart, one of the biggest stars in the world, falling for a woman half his age while still married to his increasingly unstable wife. The public was fascinated, and Bogart's relationship with Method quickly became one of the most talked-about scandals in the industry. Bogart's wife Mae Method, known for her jealous rages, wasn't about to go quietly. Their fights became even more vicious, with Method reportedly smashing bottles and throwing objects in fits of rage whenever she suspected Bogart of being unfaithful. It's said that the tension between them got so bad that Bogart often retreated to his boat just to escape the drama. Ultimately, Bogart couldn't deny his love for Bacall, and in 1945, he filed for divorce from Method. It was a bitter and ugly separation. Method reportedly fought him every step of the way, accusing Bacall of stealing her husband and branding Bogart a traitor for abandoning their marriage. But despite all the chaos and heartbreak, Bogart and Bacall's love only grew stronger. Once the divorce was finalized, Bogart wasted no time. He married Lauren Bacall that same year, and for a brief moment, it seemed like their love story had finally found its happy ending. They were one of Hollywood's most glamorous couples, and their life together seemed perfect. But behind the scenes, things weren't as ideal as they appeared. Bacall's struggles, the pressure of being Mrs. Bogart. Despite the love between them, Lauren Bacall's life as Mrs. Bogart wasn't easy. At just 20 years old, she had married one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, and with that came enormous pressure. Bogart had always been a heavy drinker, and Bacall found herself constantly trying to keep up with his fast-paced lifestyle of late-night parties and endless social obligations. But it wasn't just the Hollywood lifestyle that weighed on Bacall. Bogart's deep insecurities began to surface as the years went on. He was 25 years older than her, and as Bacall's career started to flourish, Bogart became increasingly jealous and possessive. He didn't like the idea of his young, beautiful wife being around other men, especially in the film industry. Bacall adored Bogart, but his controlling nature often caused friction in their marriage. She was deeply committed to him, but she also wanted to be her own person and pursue her own career. Bogart, however, expected Bacall to always be by his side, and this tension created an underlying strain in their relationship that would only grow as time went on. As Bogart aged, his health began to decline, largely due to his lifelong battle with alcoholism. The glamorous image of Hollywood's leading man began to fade, replaced by a man struggling with both his physical health and inner demons. Bogart's drinking became a major issue in their marriage, with Bacall often forced to take on the role of caretaker, despite her own growing career. By the late 1950s, Bogart was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, a result of years of smoking and drinking. His once powerful frame weakened, and Bacall was by his side through the painful final years of his life. But the toll this took on her was immense. She was still young, just entering her prime, but she spent her days caring for a husband whose health was rapidly deteriorating. In 1957, at the age of 57, Humphrey Bogart passed away, leaving Bacall a widow at just 32 years old. His death marked the end of one of Hollywood's most legendary love stories, but it also left Bacall with a deep sense of loss and heartbreak that would follow her for the rest of her life. Bacall after Bogart, a life shaped by love and loss. After Bogart's death, Bacall was left to rebuild her life. She continued to act, becoming a beloved star in her own right, but she was always haunted by the memory of Bogart. Their relationship, though passionate and full of love, was also filled with darkness, his alcoholism, his possessiveness, and the age gap that constantly reminded Bacall of the fleeting nature of their time together. Bacall would later admit that her love for Bogart was one of the most defining aspects of her life. In her memoir, she wrote about how deeply she had loved him, but also about the sacrifices she made to be with him. It was a love that came with incredible highs but also devastating lows, and Bacall, even after his death, never fully escaped the shadow of Bogey. When news of Bogart's relationship with Bacall started to leak, Hollywood tabloids had a field day. This wasn't just another run-of-the-mill Hollywood affair. This was Humphrey Bogart, one of the biggest stars in the world, falling for a woman half his age while still married to his increasingly unstable wife. The public was fascinated, and Bogart's relationship with Method quickly became one of the most talked-about scandals in the industry. Bogart's wife Mayo Method, known for her jealous rages, wasn't about to go quietly. Their fights became even more vicious, with Method reportedly smashing bottles and throwing objects in fits of rage whenever she suspected Bogart of being unfaithful. It's said that the tension between them got so bad that Bogart often retreated to his boat just to escape the drama. Ultimately, Bogart couldn't deny his love for Bacall, and in 1945, he filed for divorce from Method. It was a bitter and ugly separation. Method reportedly fought him every step. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall's love story is one that has captivated the world for decades. It's often seen as the epitome of Hollywood romance, a dashing leading man and a stunning young starlet falling madly in love. But as we've seen today, their relationship was far from perfect. Behind the glamour was a love filled with struggle, sacrifice, and hardship. It's easy to romanticize their story, but we should remember that even the greatest love stories have their dark truths. Bogart and Bacall's relationship wasn't just about passion and romance, it was about enduring the hardships of life together, even when things were difficult and love was tested. In the end, their love story is one for the ages, not because it was flawless, but because it was real. And perhaps that's what makes it so enduring. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating stories from Hollywood's golden era.